All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our college basketball video here today for Wednesday, March 10th. And if you're new here, I just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my channel. My name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And if you end up liking what you see here today, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and join the Brock Page family. I'd love to have you. With that, guys, we're going to start off with a ball game that's not on our big screen behind me, but it is going to be in the ACC. It's an early one. I'm talking about NC State versus Syracuse, 12 o'clock Eastern tip-off at the Greensboro Coliseum. The Syracuse Orange are -2.5, totals 146. And if you like the Wolfpack to win this one outright in an upset, they're plus $1.35 on the money line. And after yet another somewhat lackluster day on my Patreon website, we still once again improved to 14-1 in our last 15 extra daily picks on that Patreon page. And access to today's extra daily pick is just $2.99 on that site. We're also hitting at 62% our last 13 NBA tier package picks on that Patreon page as well. We currently have over 1,225 members signed up and active on that site. And the link for that page is in the description section below. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, NC State comes into this contest here today on a red-hot 5-game winning streak, 70% against the number in their last 10. The Wolfpack's also gone 8-3 against the spread in their 11 contests away from their home court. And they also rank in the top 30 in offensive field goal percentage away from home. Jericho Helms is scoring over 13 points per contest along with 5 boards. Meanwhile, DJ Funderburk is averaging over a dozen a game himself, along with 5 rebounds as well. The Wolfpack successfully covered the point spread in 7 out of their last 10 meetings with Syracuse. And speaking of the Orange, they've been victorious in only 2 of 9 away from their home court this season themselves, just 2-7 against the point spread in those 9 contests as well. Now, Syracuse is also allowing 71 points per contest, and they failed to cover the number in 6 out of their last 10 ball games. Now, total-wise, 8 out of Syracuse's last 9 games away from their home court got over the number. NC State went 10-1 to the over in that very same stat. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the underdog, NC State Wolfpack, plus 2.5, and the over 146. All right, next contest, another game not on our big screen behind me, but it is going to be Washington State versus Arizona State. 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The Arizona State Sun Devils are the 1-point favorite at the T-Mobile Arena. Numbers 144.5. And if you like WAZZU in the slightest of upsets in Vegas here this afternoon, they're catching even money to win it outright. Now, Washington State has successfully covered the number in 7 out of their last 10 ball games. 7-3 against the spread this season when they travel as well. The Cougars are allowing just 67 points per contest, and they hold their opponents to just 31% shooting from beyond the arc. Now, good news here, Isaac Bonton, he's scoring over 17.5 points per contest, along with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. He's been banged up a little bit lately, but it looks like he should be able to give it a go here this afternoon. He's been upgraded to probable. The senior guard has also recorded 39 total steals on the season. Meanwhile, Noah Williams is averaging over 14 a game himself, along with 3.5 boards and a couple assists. Williams has also recorded 41 total steals defensively himself. They're taking on an Arizona State squad who's got a slew of guys on the injury report here. The Sun Devils also come into this tournament on a 2-game losing streak, while also failing to cover the number in 7 out of their last 9. Arizona State went just 20% against the spread in their 10 games away from their home court this season. The Sun Devils also allow nearly 78 points per contest. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Arizona State's last 3 got over the number, 70% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Washington State is 7-3 to the over in their 10 games away from home themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Washington State Cougars, plus 1, and the over 144.5. All right, next ball game here. As you can see, the screen went blank. I normally queue up the music choice channels on Xfinity, and I hit the pause button for a black screen, and after about 20 minutes or so, it goes away. And this is my second time recording the video. So sorry about that. But anyway, Butler versus Xavier, 6 o'clock Eastern tip-off at Madison Square Garden. Xavier is -6 in New York City, totals 133. Xavier successfully covered the number in 7 out of their last 10 meetings with Butler. They're scoring over 75 points a night this season as well. Zach Fremantle scoring 16 points per contest along with 9 rebounds. Meanwhile, Paul Scruggs is also dropping over 14 a night himself. 4 rebounds, 5 assists for the 6'4 guard. Now, Scruggs has also stolen the basketball 32 times on the defensive end of the court. Now, they're taking on a Butler squad who's been victorious in just 1 out of 11 ball games away from their home court this season. Just 3-8 against the number in those very contests. Bryce Inzy is also listed as questionable. He's been battling injury. Not sure if he's going to give it a go here today. Meanwhile, several other players are either questionable or out for the Bulldogs. Butler's averaged just 61 points per contest away from home. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, Butler's last 2 straight got over the number. 6-3 to the over in their last 9. Meanwhile, Xavier's 4-3 to the over in their last 7 themselves. 60% to the over for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward the Xavier Musketeers -6 and the over 133. All right, next matchup. It is going to be Kansas State versus TCU, 6:30 East. The TCU Horned Frogs are -3.5 in this first round matchup in Kansas City. Totals 127 flat. And if you like the Wildcats of Kansas State and an upset victory, they're plus $1.50 for some money line cash. And despite their run of pretty good fortune over the past handful of games, we're still looking at a K-State squad who simply cannot score. In addition to losing 7 of 9 away from their home court this season, the Wildcats averaged just 59 points of offense in those ball games. Kansas State was also hitting a dismal 25% of their three-pointers away from their home court as well. They're taking on a TCU squad who, make no mistake, they really struggled down the home stretch here themselves. Having said that, though, the Horned Frogs actually played .500 basketball away from their home court this year, and surprisingly, they went 8-4 against the spread in those very contests. RJ Nembhard is scoring over 15.5 points per contest, along with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Meanwhile, freshman guard Mike Miles is scoring nearly 14 a night himself, along with 3.5 boards and 3 assists as well. Meanwhile, defensively, TCU is holding their opponents to just 33% shooting from three land. Now, total-wise, TCU's last 2 straight did get over the number, 60% to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the TCU Horned Frogs -3.5 and the over 127. All right, next ball game. It is going to be in the ACC. I'm talking about Duke versus Louisville, 6:30 Eastern start. The Duke Blue Devils are -2.5, numbers 140. Duke's dropped 3 out of their last 4 ball games, just 4-6 against the number in their 10 contests away from home. Duke's giving up nearly 73 points per contest, and they failed to cover the point spread in 6 out of their last 10 meetings with Louisville. And speaking of the Cardinals, they're in the top 30 in the nation in defending the 3-ball. Just 66 points per contest they've given up for the entire season as well. Carlik Jones is scoring 17 points a game along with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Meanwhile, David Johnson scoring almost 13 a night himself, along with 5.5 boards and 3 assists as well. The Louisville Cardinals beat Duke in their last 2 head-to-head meetings this very season as well. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, Louisville's last 2 straight got over the number, 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, 6 out of Duke's last 7 got over the total themselves, 15-8 to the over for the entire season as well. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Louisville Cards +2.5 and the over 140. All right, next contest, it is going to be Texas A&M versus Vanderbilt, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The Vanderbilt Commodores are the 1-point favorite in Nashville here today. Totals 131.5. But despite playing this one in their hometown here, the Commodores have they've been going to work recently without their second leading scorer in Dylan DeSue, who's out for the season with a knee. Vandy's also lost 7 out of their last 10 ball games, and they unfortunately give up 73 points per contest. Now, Vanderbilt is taking on a Texas A&M program here today who allows just 66 points per contest. and they hold their opponents to just 33% shooting from downtown. Emmanuel Miller is dropping nearly 16 a night for the Aggies, 8 rebounds and 82% shooting from the stripe for the 6'7 sophomore. Quentin Jackson is also scoring 10.5 points per contest himself, along with a couple of boards. Now, the 6'5 guard is also making 42% of his three-pointers. And when it comes to the number in this one, Texas A&M went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 ball games, 12-5 to the under for the entire season. Meanwhile, Vandy, once again, is going to work without their second leading scorer here tonight. That's 15 points a game they're missing out on. The Commodores also saw 4 out of their last 5 stay under the line as well. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the underdog, Texas A&M Aggies +1 and the under 131.5. With that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Notre Dame versus North Carolina. 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Greensboro. The UNC Tar Heels are -6.5. Totals 150, juice to the over. North Carolina scoring 75 points per contest this season. Just 69 points per contest they're giving up on the defensive end. The Tar Heels are also in the top 3 in the country in offensive rebounding. Armando Bacot's averaging nearly 8 boards a night, along with 11 points per game. Meanwhile, 6'10 senior Garrison Brooks is also averaging over 10.5 points a game himself, along with 6 boards. Now, they're taking on a Notre Dame squad who failed to cover the point spread in 5 out of their last 6. The Fighting Irish are currently 3 games below 500 for the entire season, and they've been victorious in only 5 of 14 games away from their home court. Now, Notre Dame gives up nearly 76 points per contest when they travel, and when it comes to the total in this one, oddly enough, 8 out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings did stay under the total. The Tar Heels also saw 10 out of 14 contests away from Chapel Hill stay under the line. I'm going to lean toward the UNC Tar Heels -6.5 and the under 150. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap. Once again, powered to you by my Patreon website, where we are 14-1 in our last 15 extra daily picks on that Patreon page. We're also hitting at 62% in our last 13 NBA tier package picks on that Patreon page as well. I like NC State +2.5 over 146. Washington State +1 over 144 and a hook. Xavier -6 over 133. TCU -3.5 over 127. Louisville +2.5 over 140. Texas A&M +1 under 131 and a hook. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the show, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button today if you really ended up liking today's video. Give me the UNC Tar Heels -6.5 and the under 150. One final reminder here, guys. All the content on my YouTube channel here is for entertainment purposes only. I don't make any guarantees of any kind. With that, guys, we're going to dive into some shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Ninja2, Decertified, Richie Inchy, Jason Cohn, Joe Gladu, AI Sam, Andrew Scott. Shout out to Scott Kaler, Jason Vargas, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend, Devin Taylor. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. Most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.